So thank you everybody to attend this new super exciting DAM webinar. I think at one time when we are doing a webinar, it's always a challenge to find the right people to talk about what really matters for the end customers. And we are super delighted, Malik and myself, to introduce you really to the new exciting team of DAM News, and of course to our best friend Mark Davis. So first of all, thanks Malika to join the session. I know that's always a challenge to do something in English together, but I'm sure that all our attendees will be super delighted to hear you.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Fedez. Hello, everybody. Hello, Ralph, Mark, and Russell. I'm so happy to share with you this time to explain and to present your amazing job you did on this buyer guide. So I think with Mark, it's our second webinar together, but of course, Ralph and Russell, we met many times together because we are not only partners around the DAM and the expertise around the DAM, but we are agnostic, friends, and some experts that we are always happy to talk about the DAM. And now we are here together to explain how you did and what you did around this bio guide. I did not really work on it, but just I enjoyed to see what you did together, Fred, Mark, Russell, and Ralph. So the stage is yours because we are together explain and share this with our panel.
I think this is a speech of a president. We can say that. So maybe Ralph, Russ, and Mark, very short introduction of yourself.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first as mine's quite quick. I'm publisher of DAM News, which means I do all the jobs no one else wants to. But I've been in the DAM industry since 1995, nearly 30 years. I've been a developer of DAM systems, project manager of DAM implementations, digital asset manager, DAM consultant, and now, I publish DAM News, so I'm responsible for managing the editorial content and advertising and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you, Ralph. Russ?
Hi, I'm Russ. I am the DAM News editor since Ralph stepped aside. I've been working with Ralph for about 15 years, primarily as a coder. So we've built DAM News from the ground up over the last 15 years. I've done a fair bit of DAM migration as well for various large enterprise companies. So I'm a code monkey and a musician, and as Ralph said, I've been in DAM since probably the mid to late 90s now. So yeah.
Thank you. And now the international super well-known DAM veteran in the industry here. It's you.
Indeed, I am a veteran of the industry. Hello, everybody. Thanks for the invite for Activo. I am Mark Davey, the founder of the DAM Playbook, and I'm pleased to walk you through what we've been doing today with the guys. So, hello.
Thank you so much. So we're ready in a couple of minutes. We just introduce you who we are and finally what we are doing in a short minutes. So our stage is yours, Malika.
Now, just Activo is based, of course, as you can see here. We're based in Paris.
This is the view. And we are doing the webinar just in this super building where we made on DAM just 2 years ago. So this is where we are.
So Activo is a consultancy agency, and we support our different brands, clients, around all the DAM, PIM, and CMS services. This means how they can find the right solution, the DAM solution, regarding their needs and their constraint, and also how we can deploy different kind of DAMs and different solutions of DAM for brands.
Yeah, so of course, as soon as we are trying to get the right pitch, so I think you're capable to read these guidelines, but it's really driven by the best practices. And as Malika was saying, we are super happy and really on the daily basis to work with something at more than 10 DAM systems. It's always a great experience, but it's also the DAM at the enterprise level. So most of the time it's playing with a PM, CMS system, different marketing stack, etc. So we are not the best, we're just trying to do the job. And so we're first of all super delighted to share with our customers, and we have something like, I think, a couple of them. But of course, it's all about the team and maybe
Yes, today we are more or less 15 people in the company, and we have different profiles. I mean, we have DAM experts, but we have also project management and content management, because always we say that during a DAM project, we need not only the technical part and to deploy solution, but also to manage the content.
And you know that in Europe, 70% of in our industry are driven by women. We are 80%. We are super proud of that.
Women in tech. We are working today with different brands. It means that we are working with different kind of companies. We are not specialized in some sectors, but every companies, they need to manage their assets. They need a DAM, and there is not only one DAM. There is different solutions and different process and project for DAM. But I think we will discuss about that together.
And just some things about regarding for who we are working.
We are working with, at this time we are working, of course, we have a specialized with press and agencies, but also in luxury industry, but always with important companies that they have perhaps different business units and present in different countries. Our expertise is around, of course, the delivery solution, the management of the metadata, always regarding the rights and the access on the assets is very important. And we try always to apply and to create taxonomies, thesaurus, and we finish our project, of course, with the management of the change and the content and training people.
Yes, I like this speak because this is if you are looking at the equity software company, you can see here Mark and myself, we met something like 10 years ago. In fact, it's very important to share alongside the DAM community here. And so we are super delighted also to spend some time regarding IPTC and CEPIC organization. IPTC, of course, every bit of you know what does it means, and especially since last year, we had some great advancements. And the CEPIC regarding, especially with AI, but that's maybe something, a topic we can talk just after we Mark regarding trust, copyright, and etc. And of course, one of the best things we did, I think, last year, and I do remember something 18 months ago at DAM Paris 2022, when Ralph was back to us, okay, maybe we can cook something together, because it's very important to maintain the independent view of DAM News. So we were super delighted to invest, and now it's more than friends. It's a world company, and we are trying to do a lot of things together. Of course, very quick, but of course, some other people say, okay, the DAM is not really so useful, but at the end of the day, it's still a niche market, but it's still something we need to do, because at the end of the customer journey, one of the things which is important for every customer when they click on a product, this is the image, and the image has to be the right one at the right time with the right optimization. So because when it's slow, people, they don't click on a product. Of course, we will talk about AI with Mark, but it's a reason why in this webinar we get two parts. One regarding the path to make the right selection, and the other here, the second part with AI and DAM systems. So it's a couple of information I think you already saw in the previous webinar in February, and especially regarding some improvement alongside the generative AIs. But Mark is there to talk about the subject and all these guys in this industry. So it's a very exciting moment, and you will see that Mark is really, it's amazing, because when he was showing me just a couple of weeks ago everything he was doing, you'll be very surprised what we can do with AI. Of course, we have a good friend, Luc. Say hello, Luc. I'm not sure you're online, but I'm sure we will share the link with you. And Luc Julia is the CTO of Group Honor, starting with Siri years ago, and it's maybe one of these guys in the industry who is really enjoying. And so we advise you to read the different books he made, because AI doesn't exist really at the end of the day. So very shortly, before getting the stage to Ralph and Russ, one other thing, as you can see, this guy on the wall say, okay, how I can find the right system? Because at the end of the day, DAM is much more than the view of thumbnails in a window. It's a complete strategy. And I just share, I think this is a foundation of Mark did years ago regarding the strategy when you are searching for a DAM, from gap analysis, product audits, resource audits, governance, scenarios, and vendor selection. Of course, a DAM is an engine for the assets and metadata, but we will see that after that, again, especially based on the playbook. So this is the life cycle of the assets. So it's more and more advanced today. And of course, this is where we can see the difference between DAM, real DAM system, or something that looks like as a DAM, but they don't have the engine, or something, or a couple of features that's like renditions or something like this. Of course, every year we like the Scott view and how you can find the right DAM solution if you are to search for in this crazy map of islands, of solutions, and etc. This is the reason where we are. Of course, I think that's the best way to introduce you. What Ralph will tell you is these guys, they are doing a fantastic job for a lot of customers alongside marketing stacks or whatever is Gather or Forrester. But the question is, when I have to make a selection, what finally is the right way to start with? Okay, of course, every year we have acquisitions. So we saw that, and especially in the French markets, with some companies, they made some acquisitions. So this is the usual way, even if we do think that today this market is still too much fragmented. But something maybe is coming also this year. And now we will start with a pause. Stage is yours, Monica.
Okay, so the first question is how to select a DAM system. You have two questions. So your answers will help us to continue and perhaps to focus on some point together. So the first one, do you use external DAM research sources like analyst reports or review websites? And the second one is, what is the most important criteria when choosing research sources for you? Thank you. I think you have 2 minutes, 1 minute.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Most of you are using external DAM research sources. And most of you is important for you to have the expertise of research authors and experience in DAM. Okay.
what do you think, Ralph?
Ralph.
That's interesting, and what I expected, especially the last point,
Yeah.
the expertise of research authors.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised how few reports there are, research reports in DAM that have been written by genuine experts who've got some actual proven expertise. Unlike our one, which is written by some experts.
Yeah. Thank you for answer. Oops. Now, of course, this is the time to move forward. So, oops. I'll just close this one. Okay.
Yes, and we noticed impartiality.
Yes. So, Ralph and Russ, stage is yours.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, I'll just begin giving an overview of the guide of what we've got. Can you just bring on the next slide, Fred?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, our buyer's guide. I'll actually show the PDF in a second, so you can have a look at it in a bit more detail. But just to give you the overview, we launched this, I think, earlier this month, and it's 500 pages long, over 500 pages. We cover 16 vendors. I believe all of our vendors that we've got are well known in the industry. I'm pretty sure all the names there, everyone on this call will have recognised in one form or another. So yeah, we've been through quite a bit of that. In terms of selecting the criteria for including them in the report, yeah, can you just bring on the next slide, Fred?
Yeah.
Well, we decided to choose who should appear and who shouldn't. It's not based on anything like what their turnover is or their investment or certainly whether they paid us, none of that sort of stuff. It's basically three straightforward criteria. They need to have an entry on the DAM News vendor directory, which we have on the DAM News site. They need to have achieved 10 core accreditation. This is the 10 core DAM standards that Mark set up, I think, over 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. So they need to have gone through the process of accreditation with that and achieved it. There are quite a few DAM systems that are out there, and some that have been around for a long time, and they haven't actually achieved 10 core accreditation. But if you hadn't got that, then we didn't include you. The other criteria was that we were looking for at least 5 user reviews. A lot of these we had from our own experiences of reviewing DAM systems, basically when working with clients to actually select a DAM system. But we also looked through some public research as well, and asked on forums and things like that. So we needed to find like 5 examples, and preferably, well, not at all from people like resellers who are financially motivated to provide a review. So there had to be 5 impartial reviews. So yeah, those are the coverage criteria. And if we met all those, then the vendor got included. Yeah, can you bring up the next slide, Fred?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the highlights of the report itself. What I'll do here now is I'll share my screen, actually go in and describe each of these and show you the report.
Yes, we can share it.
Yeah, I'll just I can find it. Brilliant. Yeah, can everybody see the report? Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just bringing up my notes here. Yeah, so we've got basically the report is, as I said, it's over 500 pages. It's divided into 2 sections. The first section is what we call the Enterprise DAM Buyer's Guide. The second section is a vendor analysis of each of the 16 vendors that we've covered. So in the Buyer's Guide, this is about 100 or so pages where we go into some very in-depth detail about all the different stages that you'll encounter when you actually go through the process of purchasing a DAM. We didn't just cover the purchasing side of it. We actually include the business case and some of the post-selection implementation issues as well. So yeah, I'll just go through some of this. So yeah, we have the overview, business cases, all of these sort of questions that you're likely to run into. Who needs to be in the selection team, stakeholders, all the sort of details about procurement and IT, data protection, so on and so forth. One of the aspects that we include quite a bit in this report is analysing purchasing DAM systems from the perspective of your digital asset supply chain. I don't do consulting now, but when we did, basically nearly all the clients had some sort of digital asset supply chain requirement. And if you're not sure what that means, it means that the DAM has to integrate with lots of other tools. It won't be just a DAM that's like a kind of warehouse of pictures and videos. It's going to be shipping media or receiving media from photographers and asset originators and sending them out to web content management, mobile apps, email, all of those sort of things. And we cover quite a bit of that in this report. You can see we've got some example digital asset supply chains here, just so you can see how basically, what that all means, what that means in context. And one of the points we do make is that when you're buying a DAM system, you really need to think about it like some kind of transport hub. I said, rather than a warehouse, it's more like kind of air traffic control. You've got digital assets arriving and leaving constantly. And that's really the best way to think about things. So yeah, we have this terminology upstream, which is where assets have come in from photographers, creative workflow, all of the agencies, all that sort of stuff. And then they might go out into mobile, email, retail displays, etc. So we cover a lot of that. We go into details about vendor briefs. I'm going to have to obviously gloss over quite a bit because there's a huge amount of information here. But you can see just from this that we really provide this in quite a detailed level. So you're given some specific instructions on what you need to think about and how to contextualize that into your own DAM requirement. I'll just skip over most of that. Two other aspects on the buyer's guide. One of them is we include a vendor brief, which is basically this is like a way to an example of how to describe to vendors what you're looking for in a DAM system. So we have all this sort of information like the background to the company, what you're looking for in terms of the length of the responses, the deliverables, all of that sort of stuff, and including the requirements analysis and the digital asset supply chain that we were talking about before, and terminology and all these sort of things. These are the examples that you can use to apply to your own situation. Obviously, you don't need to copy it completely verbatim. You can take this as an example and use that to apply it to your own situation. So yeah, we have the vendor brief as an example. And then we have demonstration briefs. So when you come to do initial demonstrations, which is another point, by the way, we always recommend that rather than going straight into RFPs, you start with a demo. So you can have a look at systems and decide if you like them before you make people fill out a huge RFP. So you can basically, then the RFP is distributed to a short list of 3 or 4 vendors rather than sending it out to 10 people and then having to read a massive document that comes back. So yeah, that's the demonstration brief. We have an example RFP also, which we've split up into letter sections. And I think we've got practically one for every letter of the alphabet. Again, you don't have to use all of these. These are just example questions, things to think about. You can have a look through and go, all right, well, okay, that one might be useful to our situation. We go into technical and functional details. So you can see here like collections and light boxes, asset cataloging and tagging, reporting, all of those sort of things, all the kind of features that you're likely to encounter in a DAM, as well as some of the integration, architecture, some of the wider questions that you would get into. So yeah, I think that's pretty much covered most of the guidance side of things in terms of what you need to think about when assembling your RFP and actually going through the purchasing process. The second stage of the report is the vendor analysis. And what we've done here is we've taken data from a number of sources. And we've got the reviews that we talked about before. We've taken information from the 10 core and DAM Playbook, which Mark is going to go into in a bit more detail. We've taken information from that. We've taken the user reports that we talked about, and details from the vendors themselves, some of the questions that we've asked them to go through. So I'll try and find an example vendor. Okay, let's go with resource base. As I said, we have 16 of these. This is quite a good representative one. So we open up with some user feedback about the vendor themselves. We talk about positives. Again, these are from real users, and we basically collected all this, summarized it. So we've gone into the positives about the vendor. We've also talked about negatives and problems that have been encountered. And bear in mind, this is based on feedback over a number of years, so not all of it is going to be current anymore, but most of it should be fairly representative. One thing that we have in our report, which I believe no other report does have, we gave vendors the opportunity to comment on the feedback that we offered about them. So we said, right, okay, here's what we've said about you. This is what users say. What do you think of that? And we've offered them the opportunity to include the feedback in that, so you can make your own mind up and decide whether or not the critique is accurate, or if you want to investigate more. So yeah, as I said, in terms of the narrative, there's quite a bit there. We have a huge amount of information about the characteristics of each vendor. So we've got the turnover, the revenue, the percentage of revenue, DAM, lots of screenshots. Some of them have videos as well on the vendor directory, and all these things like user groups, trials, all of the different functionality, what technologies they're based on. There's basically everything you would need to know here about the DAM, and this is all bang up to date. We asked all the vendors, said, right, we're going to publish this, make sure this is all accurate and up to date, and if you need to change anything, basically do it now. So yeah, we've been through all of that. There's a few vendors who we found a few. I'm not going to go into who they are. I'm afraid you'll have to purchase a copy of the report to find out with that one. But we found some vendors had not been entirely truthful in their responses. I'm sure that comes as a great shock to all of you, especially those of you with some experience in DAM. But yeah, as you can see, each vendor's got something like 20 or 30 pages per vendor, in addition to all this other information. So I believe it's a very comprehensive report. Okay, I think that's all I can show you. That's pretty much covered everything in terms of the report itself. Yeah, do you think you could just bring back the slides there, Fred?
Yeah, for sure. But I just have one question, because in order not to get all the questions at the end of the webinar, we have initially was asking for, because he didn't see around logic in VR. And of course, we have a couple of people say, I'm working with DAM system, it's not part of the list. Maybe you can explain again why we have 16 at that moment. And we will see after that with Mark that we have much more on the playbook. So maybe if you can put some clarification.
Yeah, the criteria were that we need to, they need to have a DAM vendor directory entry. That's the top priority. The second priority is they needed to have gone through the 10 core accreditation. And the third priority was that they needed, we need to be able to find 5 user reviews about them. There are some vendors who've achieved the first 2, but not the third one. We just haven't been able to find enough information. And we needed to be able to include actual real end user feedback about the DAM. Yeah, so those are the main criteria that we were looking for. A fourth one that isn't a hard criteria, but we did really want it, was that the vendor actually expressed an interest in appearing in the report. And I think with Orange Logic, I'm not sure they did with that, and certainly they weren't able to come up with end user feedback for us. So that's why they're not in. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so by the way, as soon as you have any other questions, you can contact us, and of course, you can get direct contact with Ralph at that stage. And maybe something we are just highlighting here.
one of the posts of the month, I would say, because I think you did a good job, Ralph, regarding this Forrester Wave.
Yeah, the Forrester report. This was released a couple of weeks before our one. Intriguingly enough, I've had a look at this, and I wouldn't call it a report. I call it a pamphlet, to be absolutely honest. It's 18 pages long. It costs $3,000, which I worked out in the article is something like $166 per page. As I said in the article, if it was 18 pages of gold, then I would pay. But it's basically just reheated press releases. It's not been written by DAM experts. None of the people involved actually implemented a DAM. I'm not going to go into, I'm not going to completely trash it, but I didn't think it was very good, to be honest. And I thought our one was vastly superior, and it's a third of the price. On that subject, Fred, do you reckon you can just move over to the other slide?
Yeah.
And I will segue now, hopefully smoothly, into Russ. Will describe not only what you get with the report, but also the rest of what else you get with the subscription to DAM News, the premium subscription.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's important you have a price for a report, but maybe you can get much more with a subscription plan.
Yeah, that's right. Hello again, folks. So I think the screen's up, so let's run through the numerous benefits of becoming a DAM News premium subscriber. I'm not a marketing type, so forgive my sales pitch if it's not very slick. The first one on the list is obviously the DAM Industry Report and Buyer's Guide, lovingly crafted and very thorough. Again, we have to stress that this is vendor neutral report, and it's a third of the price of the Forrester Wave, and the information in it is far superior. No bias there at all. Ralph's gone into enough detail about that, so I'm not going to go over it again. It's probably the primary reason that people are going to sign up for a premium subscription at the moment, because that comes bundled with it. It's usually $9.99, so it's $1,000. Okay, next on the list is 1 hour free consultation with a DAM expert. This is for DAM end users only. This isn't open to vendors. This will be a member of the Activo team, so Fred, Malika, Mark. This is especially useful if you're planning a new DAM initiative, or if you're in need of technical advice on integrating PIM, CMS, e-commerce, or any third-party connectors or integrations. I know a few of us have had a lot of experience in this department. Personally, I've done a lot of migrations, as I said earlier. Fred is a brand expert, so stuff on brand asset management, governance, this is also available. So yeah, you get a free hour, whether that's via Zoom or a telephone call. Yeah, I'll let you guys decide that. If you're a vendor, you get a slightly different offering. This is the next item on the list. This is $200 free advertising credit. You'll see the banners across the DAM News website, across the leaderboard and down the side. So yeah, so this is free marketing and free promotion, basically, across the website. You get 4 banners in total when you sign up for a premium account, which is also a silver media advertising package. You get 2 run-of-site leaderboards that appear across the top of the site. You get 2 run-of-site square banners, which appears down the sidebar. We get about 5,000 unique visitors a month. I think the last time I looked at the statistics, which isn't bad. You get to manage your banners.
I think it's 7,000 now.
Oh, 7,000, right. Okay. Yeah, that's brilliant. You get to manage your banners via a dedicated management system that we built some time ago and has recently upgraded since Activo took over, where you can set up your new banners, you can upload the links, the imagery, you can view basic statistics like clicks, views, the devices, which pages are getting the most impact. You can do A/B comparisons, so you can set up 2 different leaderboards, banners, and see which one is performing the best. Yeah, so free promotion essentially when you sign up for a premium account. Next is the DAM Playbook. This is Mark's area. So the DAM Playbook, I haven't really explained what it is yet. Mark's going to do this a bit later on, but it's an online vendor analysis and vendor selection tool, and it's pretty detailed. There's a lot of deep information in there. But again, you get a free subscription to that. So you get access to all the kind of, there's a paywall, so you can go beyond the paywall and get extra information. So again, very detailed analysis of vendors. So if you're in the market, it's an incredibly useful tool. Next is the DAM vendor pricing surveys. The next few of these are white papers and reports. This was published back in 2018, so it's a little old now, but it contains a huge amount of valuable information because there's a lot of information about the pricing habits of vendors, not just their pricing. So it's 64 pages. Again, it's vendor neutral. No one was paid, or we didn't charge anyone to appearing it. There's a lot of graphical information and charts, few different scenarios. So whether it's a medium-sized enterprise or a large enterprise, a small business, the scalability, whether the solutions are on-premise or cloud-based. So there's a lot of different pricing structures that you can find information about. It's all anonymized, so we don't name and shame those that are more expensive than the others. It's a multi-seat license. So once you sign up for this and you get the report, you can distribute it across your whole organization without any extra charge. Unlike the Forrester report, I think that's a per seat, that's for one seat. The next one is the digital asset supply chain management. This is individually priced at $300. This is good for marketing professionals, as it explains what Ralph touched on earlier. It's about the planning, managing and improving your whole digital asset supply chain. So digital asset life cycle as well, archiving from ingestion to distribution and then to archiving. The package contains video, PowerPoint demonstrations, and Word documents as well. So that's that one. The next one is metadata management strategies. I think Mark's going to be going into AI and metadata a bit later on. This is individually priced at $100. It's pretty much self-explanatory, provides a lot of information on managing metadata. So generally for DAM managers, this one. Next one, this is either another offer, depending on whether you're into job posts or if you're into events. You get 3 featured job posts included in your yearly subscription. It's also included in the weekly newsletter, which has about 3,500 subscribers. So basically, a featured job or a featured event is where it's featured on the front page. It's in our job or event listings. And you also get social media coverage because I post these out as and when they occur. So the featured jobs are on Friday mornings. The featured events are on Wednesdays. So it adheres to our editorial schedule. But so that's another one. The next one is, well, the last one, which isn't particularly, this is if you don't need a premium subscription. If you haven't signed up to DAM News already, do so because it's totally free and you get the vendor directory. If you're a vendor, you can get to add your own profile, which is part of the main industry report that's just come out. You can add jobs, you could add events. It unlocks additional editorial content. So, but obviously we'd recommend the premium one because you get the bundled report and you get all the other benefits as well. So sign up. That's about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Russ, for all this information. So we are a little bit worried. So the second part is really, and I will start again, a very short pour on my side. I just have to be back and start the second one. Yep.
Okay, the second one is about the AI in the DAM. What are your expectations from the AI in the DAM? So please, you have 2 questions. The first one is your organization currently leveraging AI within your DAM system? And the second one, what do you expect AI to improve most in your DAM system? Thank you.
And now maybe, Mark, you can put some analysis at the top.
Well, AI is on the move and everybody's on the move with AI. Can you scroll down a little bit and look at the second question?
You have 2 questions here, normally.
Yeah, there's the metadata management. I can only see to asset discovery, so I don't know what's winning on that one.
You should be able to scroll down yourself there, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right, metadata management and tagging. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Do you want me to go ahead, Fred?
Yeah, for sure. So I will
You want me
start
to
sharing.
reduce my time slightly because we're running a little bit late?
Yeah, but we get the time. No issues. So I will move there. So welcome, Mark. This is your time.
Okay, hopefully you can see my screen okay.
Yes, I will stop sharing so now you can share your screen. Yes, that's fine.
Fabulous. Okay, I'm going to do a brief overview of the 10 core accreditation. As Ralph mentioned, 10 years ago, we looked at DAM and we said there are a lot of companies that are professing to be DAM systems, but in actual fact, there wasn't a standard that we could gauge against, and a lot of them were just file repositories. So we had this idea, let's get together, let's break down what are the core characteristics of a DAM system and put some metrics around ingest, secure, store, render, transform, enrich, relate, process, find, preview, and produce and publish. This was the 10 core main standard, which was then broken down into 22 dimensions. Then what we did is we produced a crib sheet, and we said that any vendor that scored 0 across the 22 dimensions would be a fail. And every other vendor then got a score based on, how well they did something in specifically. Here we see asset ingest, and each score has a readout, and vendors are then scored against what they actually do. So we do a blind test, 1 hour demo with the vendors. We take them through a whole process of the 22 dimensions, and then we agree the final score based on what we see. So as I said, vendors that get 0, they fail. And this, out of the 43 vendors that have passed, we now have a 42% fail rate. And one of the biggest areas that companies fail on is the read-write metadata, which was something that maybe 10 years ago we were a bit visionary, because we realized that there are the benefits of read-write metadata going beyond and outside of the DAM, downstream systems, etc. But now with the advent of AI, this has become even more apparent. So companies that score very well in metadata and metadata management are going to reap the benefits of the AI today, and the AI that's coming down the track, and the generative AI, and everything that's hitting us on the AI side of things. So that's what we do. We have a crib sheet. It all gets signed off with the vendors, so there's no disagreement. And then what we do is we take that data and we render it through our various charts and comparisons. So if we look at 10 core, and we'll go to the 22 dimensions. Fred, do you want to shout out a vendor that you want to look at?
Okay, so maybe we can say we can start maybe with Adobe. A lot of people are using Adobe in their world.
Yeah, Ralph, do you have a vendor you want to look at? Ralph, got a sleep?
Let's have a look at Weedia.
Weedia. Here we go. Malika, what's your vendor that you'd like to look at? I want to show impartiality here. Binder. And finally, Russ, what's yours? Binder.
I'm going to go for Comrade Solutions because they've just signed up they've just claimed their vendor profile.
Right. Okay. And Comrades. And I will put Acquia on here. There we go. So we can quickly look at the scores. The percentage score from 0 to 10. By the way, nobody gets a 10. 10 is a future state. And you're able to quickly drill in and see the strengths and the weaknesses of the vendors. And you can add and subtract as you wish. Get down to your final set and drill into what the actual requirements are. And then you have a readout that actually expresses what that vendor is and why the score is appropriate, and then you can match that directly to your requirements, which we then do once a vendor is in the accredited process. We then also put them through the functional requirements, and the functional requirements are 130 different attributes to a DAM strategy: user interface, administration, accessibility, rights, roles and permissions, batch upload, search mechanism, you name it, anything that you would want to express as a requirements document is covered in the same process. And again, let's click a few vendors and you can quickly drill in top level and see their strengths and weaknesses also. Of course, metric-based approach where we are on a level playing field and eggs are eggs, or apples are apples and apples and oranges, delineated by an accreditation process from an analyst and a consultant is very much the best way. So this information is going directly into the DAM News report. And as Russell said, a free subscription is offered to anyone who buys the report, and they'll have full access to this. We have reports, we have other data. Right. Any questions? No? Good. Okay. Let me take you to the DAM Pulse. Go on, Fred.
Yeah, just brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead.
So the big mistake that everybody makes, I believe, and I've seen throughout the 25 plus years that I've been working in the industry, everybody goes to the vendor first. And, you know, they might use reports that are biased or pay to play, or they might go on to the sites where they're seeing user generated reviews, which, you know, on the face of it looks good until you understand that the user generated reviews are also pay to play. It might be a small amount of money or a nice $25 voucher for Amazon. So are you getting a true representation? Anyhow, that aside, it's a mistake. For me, the first thing you should do is build your strategy team and your stakeholders. And what we've done is we've created a practice analyst consultant in a box methodology. This is called the DAM Pulse. And we recommend putting certain or interviewing or assigning certain information to certain users within a group to really get a feel on an enterprise level where content, where metadata, and where the potential of AI comes into the field. So here you're seeing a super admin. There's a profile of a super admin and what they should be looking at. If you go to the librarian, you'll see that the focus then changes into metadata, tailored research, looking at taxonomies, controlled vocabularies, etc. And again, we like to invite marketing managers and automation specialists and sales operations, and each one of these has a specific profile and a focus within the stakeholder group. What I found through my years is you get great people around a table, but they don't really know what their true focus is in terms of bringing information to the business. So this is a guide to do that. Once you've got your team, you need to review your objectives. Now, there's a whole list of objectives you might be looking at: insufficient asset management, poor user adoption, how do you approach user adoption? And again, everything in the playbook from a strategic perspective is Q&A. We also look at OKRs and key results and return on investments. We've got some really nice return on investment calculators here. And then you go to the wider world. You want to look at, okay, what's happening at the marketing operations managers level? How are they interacting with the DAM? What are the tasks they're doing? What tools are they using? And so we profile these using AI and our own data. And we look at all the aspects: workflow analysis, content analysis, task-based workflows. And we build a picture that then goes back to the strategy team, all metric driven. So let's just, and then we do 10 core and we do requirements and vendor intangibles, and you can do a short list. And then we've got a whole heap of information on the sort of task, on the software that's being used and how that's being integrated downstream with content. But in the last couple of minutes, I want us to look at artificial intelligence in a slightly different way, because for the last 18 months, I've been addicted to AI, playing with AI, looking at AI, codifying AI, building my own AI systems, and just experiencing what's coming. And what's coming at the meta level is here. Confidence scores, processing status, AI recommendation engines, etc., etc., etc. And they're all driven by sound metadata. And that's the point I want to make. If your vendor is not really active specifically at the meta or the para metadata about metadata, you're on the back foot. So now is a great time to get the team together, get the librarians in and your information architects, look at the business, look at where the business is starting to think about AI and where they're going to bring in. Metadata is what AI feeds on. All right, Fred, I think I did that in rapid time.
Yeah, for sure. You work definitely. So it's super useful. And I think we saw that on a couple of links you shared on LinkedIn during the last month. So it's definitely the right way and the right path to take, we do believe. So I will share back again my screen. So and so more or less this is everything that you saw with Mark. So regarding this approach of the 10 core dimensions, the 10 core, and you can easily compare. And I think it's very important to. I think you do understand that what we are talking about is really what really matters for the end customer. So we are not just talking about marketing bullshit. It's really what is a real DAM system. And I think you do understand it's a diagnostic approach. And I think we are really concentrate all the team to provide you the best deep dive information. Of course, on our side, so we try because we have also to leverage to the French market a couple of things. So I think maybe no one is missing there. You have everybody from left to right to top and down and etc. I think at the end of the day, it's not about a race. It's all about to deliver. And I think Malika is reminding on a very daily basis that we don't have one solution.
We have many solutions.
Correct.
Because we have many DAM projects.
Yes, for sure. And I think at the end of the day, this is really a great enjoyment. And especially if you are looking at some vertical markets, in fact, just try to manage an artwork in packaging. Most DAM system doesn't work because you cannot preview files, or if you're a publisher or whatever. So this is really, I really appreciate. So, and of course, just end up this webinar with a couple of information regarding events. Of course, we do a lot of activity regarding the academia with a lot of videos, etc. And more things are coming for this year. So we keep you posted and stay tuned. The Activo TV is bringing a lot of information, especially last year, and we do it again this year, Malika, with some new vendors. So it's French interviews, but something we are cooking in English also. So you see a couple of vendors. So it was 10 minutes interviews regarding what they are doing for which use cases and etc. Blog post is very important too, and we have some white papers. We are talking a lot about AI, so when we also try to share all the content of DAM News and Mark in these white papers. Sustainability is also one of the biggest items.
I think, Mark, perhaps
Yes.
we can add just a new entry in the DAM Playbook regarding the sustainability for the DAM.
Sure, no problem. Tell me what you need.
And of course, at the end of the day, something you are aware, so we are very proud to have launched for the last 3 years on DAM Paris. So you can enjoy the replay on YouTube, on the Activo.tv channel. And of course, the one more thing which is coming is on DAM Paris 2024. And you know what's happening in 2024 in Paris? We have
Olympic Games.
Okay, so we are trying to make them great again alongside the Olympic Games. So I have no idea what we can do, but by the way, it will be the same location. And one thing is sure, it's free for everybody. You have to pay nothing. And during 2 days, we are trying to gather the best experts, customer, best practices, workshops, etc., with nearly 25 sponsors. So I hope so that we'd really try to customize this event only alongside what really matters for the end customer. And it's free. And you have champagne because we're in France. So we are definitely, we can really make your body great again at that. Of
Is it
course,
free?
we have, yeah, for sure. We have, and so we just launched on DAM. So ondamparis.com is a new website. You can find everything with videos, interviews, and etc. And the last one more thing. No, it's not the new iPad. It's damnews.fr. And so we're super happy alongside all the knowledge, the data DAM dictionary, and all the work that has been achieved during the last 15 years, thanks to Ralph, to Russ, Mark, and etc. So you get a French flag on the top. Thank you, Russ, for this amazing drawing. So I think you had some very good drawings to make it something super nice. And so stay tuned because damnews.fr is coming at the end of June. So I think we are okay. It's 5. We are nearly 4 minutes late, but thank you to everybody who are ready to attend this webinar. You get the replay as usual early in the morning tomorrow. Maybe last word for attendees. So thank you, Malika, again.
Thank you.
I know that I'm speaking too much sometimes.
Thank you, Mark, Russell, and Ralph. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
our visitors, don't forget that around this DAM bio guide, there is people and hard and great work. Thank you.
So
you.
subscribe to DAM News, subscribe to the playbook, and we will share everything to you during the next days. Thank you, Ralph, Mark, Russ, and Malika.